West, 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 West. This the West, 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 the West Coast. This the West, 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 the West, West. This the West, 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 the West Coast.
All right, let's get to it, guys. And I feel your pain. If you are a North American soccer fan, this were a tough couple of days. All three host nations in this World Cup are all gone, and we got to talk about it. And which was a very tough round of 16 if you are a fan of soccer in this part of the world. And of course, a lot of stuff was going on in the NBA. Jaylen Brown has a new uniform, and LeBron James may have a new uniform in the coming days or weeks, depending on how long he takes. But we have some teams that are favored to possibly be signing him. So I'll predict on who I think should and will get LeBron after he departures from the Lakers earlier in free agency. And remember to subscribe, rate, and review. This is the West Coast Mindset presented by the Recliner Media Network. And let's get to it right now. Beginning with a game that just ended right now, an absolute embarrassment by our guys in the red, white, and blue. Team USA goes down in Seattle 4-1 to Belgium. And yeah, this was an absolute terrible performance by these guys. The absolute worst game they could have played in this whole tournament. I get it. That game against Turkey or Turkey, whatever they're called now, that was a tough loss where they lost that game in the final minute. But they did have the excuse. They played a lot of their substitutes, and not a lot of other starters played in that game. And it was a throwaway game because they already moved on to the round of 32, so it didn't really matter. So that game was a throwaway. But this was for all the marbles here against a team that you were favored against. You had all your guys, all your best players out there, and you go out there and lay an absolute egg in front of everybody in Seattle. The crowd showed up. They were hoping for so much more, and it was looking like Fuller and Balogun was not going to play in this game because he got the red card in the last game. But the president got in the way and he said, "Hey, man, FIFA, I think it's unfair, and you guys have to review this and see possibly if you can remove the red card." And for the first time ever in World Cup history, we had a World Cup a red card taken off the board, and yeah, Balogun was able to play in this game. And you thought, hey, if Balogun, who's been our best player in this tournament, is able to play, then hey, we have USA has a great chance of winning this game. But it was the absolute opposite of that. He came in and he didn't look in sync. He was distracted, and Team USA just did not look ready to play at all. Christian Pulisic played his second game, and you would have thought that he was gonna play even better with possibly Balogun not being able to play because of the red card. But yeah, Pulisic was not impactful at all. He got hurt late in the second half, had to be taken off after taking a tough blow to his foot, and he went down and he was trying to keep running and he just couldn't move, and you can tell he was not right. He was in pain, and he had to be taken out. And then after that, the win was just taken out of USA cells. They allowed an early goal in the 8th minute. We're down 1-0. Then got a nice set piece goal going into halftime, and you thought, hey, that's a great momentum setter. We're gonna carry this into halftime, go into the halftime 1-1. But then, literally 60 seconds later, Belgium gets another goal on the header, lead 2-1, and it's 2-1 going into halftime. And it was the carbon copy of what happened the day before. And Mexico fans, I will go off in that game as well because that was a tough loss to swallow as well. But I got to talk about this game first. But yeah, they go into halftime 2-1 down, and it's like, okay, you're down 2-1. We'll see. You're still at home. You could possibly get a goal to tie this game and make it a game, get into extra time, and see what happens from there. Maybe go to penalties. Well, who knows? But you have a good chance to get back in the game. And you can just tell in that second half they were sluggish. They were making a lot of mistakes, and the absolute worst mistake by their goalkeeper Matt Freese. He gets the ball, and he looks like he's ready to to do a long pass, and he hesitates, he double clutches, and his foot gets stuck in the turf, and he turns the ball over, and yeah, Belgium gets another goal. They're up 3-1 in the game, and after that, man, USA was just completely out of it. They had no rhythm on their offense. They couldn't get the ball in an attacking position. Balogun had one chance in transition, but he missed it. It was a tough chance going towards the left, but he was wide open, and he was 1-on-1 with the goalie. And with the way he's been playing, you expect him to make those kind of shots, but it was still a tough shot, and he wasn't able to do that. But besides that, it was a lot of sloppy passes. Nobody can get the ball into the box, and yeah, it was just a bad performance. And then another turnover late in the game, and Belgium gets another goal. They're up 4-1, and then after that, it was all she wrote, and it was game over. And you could tell the difference in experience because Belgium was by far the more experienced team. They're the oldest team left in the tournament, and you could tell just in the way that the flow of this game was going, the experience factor really showed off. Belgium did not look scared out there. As soon as they got that lead, they didn't put their foot off the gas pedal. They kept coming at USA, and they kept playing their pace and kept playing their game, and the whole game was controlled by Belgium. So credit to them. They played extremely well. Their coach made the right adjustments, pushed the right buttons, and yeah, they played like a team that belonged. And a lot of people question them going into this game because it took them a huge comeback in their last game to even get into this game. And instead of looking like they were lucky to get in, they showed that hey, they're a real threat, and they may have a good chance to beat Spain in this next game coming up in the quarterfinal. And yeah, man, it's gonna be an interesting finish to this World Cup. But yeah, USA's gone, and Mauricio Pochettino looked completely embarrassed out there. His contract is expiring coming up in the next couple of months, so who knows? Maybe he might not be back. And yeah, man, after the way that this ended for Team USA, this might not be the picture perfect ending to what they were looking for because their goal, obviously, number one was to win the World Cup, and obviously that's the number one goal for everybody. But they wanted to get a more eyes on them, and they wanted to build up the soccer program here in the U.S. and have people believing, and yeah, and get more kids to play soccer, get more fans, get everybody excited for Team USA. But with the way this ended, that may have put the dagger in that because a lot of people are questioning, yeah, if Pochettino will even come back. And just looking at his body language, he did not look happy with his team. And he said he might be saying, "Hey, bro, I get it. I love the way you guys played, but I think coaching European teams and other teams overseas is a better option for me." I hope he doesn't say that, but I'm pretty sure he's thinking that in his head that yeah, uh, a team over there doesn't make these kind of mistakes, and Team USA made the mistakes of a team that didn't look like they belonged, and that's something that Pochettino will probably think about as his contract comes up for a possible extension. So we'll see if he comes back. But there is things to look up on. Yeah, Balogun played very well, and he looks like he's gonna be a special player coming up for years to come. But the problem is that he is eligible to play for other teams in the next World Cup. He's not just American. He's also African. He's also French. So he can play for anybody else. So USA has to hope that he'll be one to come back in the next World Cup. And for Christian Pulisic, I am a bit disappointed in him. He was supposed to be the best player on this team, and I get it. He was hurt. He had the calf injury for most of the tournament. But in the two games that he came back, he really was not impactful. You can tell that his speed was hampered because of that leg injury. But still, you got to be the best player out there, and he did not show up at all in these two games. Balogun was doing a lot of the heavy lifting. Alex Freeman chipped in, and Tillman played pretty well as well. But for Christian Pulisic, he was supposed to be the guy to carry the load for this team, and he just didn't get it done. And a lot of people are questioning now, is he really the guy that can lead the U.S. to greatness? And He has a lot of training and a lot of work to do heading into the next World Cup, heading into CONCACAF and the next international tournament. And yeah, we got to see if he bounces back in a big way. But overall, a disappointing loss to what was a pretty good run for USA. They did get some fans, and yeah, I did notice walking around the streets of over here in California that yeah, people are starting to get more into soccer over here in the U.S. and that yeah, having the World Cup here in the U.S. was a big success, and people are invested here. But for Team USA themselves, they want to build their own fan base, as I said, and they're starting to do that. I'm starting to see a lot more USA jerseys out there. So maybe they might have achieved their goal, and they may have captured more eyes and more people interested in the U.S. But I'm pretty sure they don't want if they were in front of a mic, they would tell you themselves that this is not the way that they wanted things to finish, and for things to finish this way, it's a bit of a sour taste in their mouth. So credit to them for trying their best, but a disappointing end to the season, to the World Cup season for Team USA, and we'll see what happens going forward. Now on to Mexico, and this was a tough one. I was at a watch party, seeing this with all the Mexico fans, and this was a tough one to swallow. They were down 2-0, pretty early in the game, about midway into the first half of the game, and yeah, man, Jude Bellingham just killed Mexico. Had 2 goals in a couple of minutes back to back, and it was a big crutch and a big punch to the people over there at the Estadio Azteca. And hell, even over here in the U.S., just with all the people watching at the watch party I was at, and it was tough. And yeah, it was a tough pill to swallow. But Julian Quinones, the Colombian wonder man, the guy who came from nothing from Colombia and came over to Mexico and got a fresh start in his life and got his soccer career going, and decided to represent the country. He played well, and he got a goal going into halftime. And Mexico was down 2-1 as USA was down 2-1 in this game tonight. But credit to Mexico, they kept fighting. Unlike USA, they kept fighting. They had so many opportunities. They came with punches, and they were able to get another goal, get 2 goals. But Harry Kane was able to get a penalty and make it 3 goals for England. And yeah, it was basically a tough hill to climb. Although England did get a red card in the second half for a big part of the second half, and I thought, hey, this is Mexico's chance. You're down 3-2. You have a man advantage, and they had plenty of shot opportunities, but they just could not get that one key goal to tie the game and gain all the momentum back. And they kept getting on England's heels, and England was really scared, and they're really backtracking, but they were able to hang on and just get enough deflections out there and keep that third goal from coming. And yeah, a bit of a controversial question for Mexico. They did take out Julian Quinones going at the end of the second half, and people were saying, "Hey, why did you take out Quinones? He's been carrying your team for a long time. He's been the best player so far on the team in this tournament." And I get it. He's a bigger guy. He's a big body guy, so he probably gets a little more tired faster compared to a lot of other strikers. But hey, you're down 3-2. You got to go down swinging. If he cramps up, so be it, man. The dude is. I'm pretty sure if you ask him, he would want to go out there and play until he couldn't play no more. And he looked disappointed on the bench, seeing Mexico go down. And yeah, man, it was tough. But even then, with him being on the bench, they still kept coming after England, but they just could not get that goal, and it was a tough pill to swallow if you're a Mexico fan. But there are things to look forward to. Gilberto Mora, the 17-year-old kid, he looks like he's gonna be something special. He's already getting offers from a lot of teams overseas to possibly pay for them, and the kid is only on the ups of his potential. So the kid can be a pretty good player for Mexico going forward. And Julian Quinones may be able to come back. He may come back, and because he sounds like he's all invested. And this young roster of Mexico, they look like they have something to build on going into the next World Cup in the next 4 years. So they got to keep getting that momentum and keep building on this. And yeah, they can possibly build something special going forward for the next couple of tournaments. But the thing is that Javier Aguirre, the manager for Mexico, he has decided to step away, and there'll be a new manager for Mexico in their next couple tournaments going forward. It's looking like it's going to be Rafael Marquez. That's the rumor that he's going to be the guy to take over as the head coach. So we'll see how he does as a head coach. But yeah, the Mexican program is starting to progress, and it was something different this year. I get it. The last couple of years with Mexico, everyone's like, "Oh yeah, this is the year for Mexico. This is the year for Mexico. They're gonna get it done." But that was the old regime. This is a new regime. Younger players, a whole different roster, and something new to build on. And I really like the way that they played. I'm disappointed that they lost to England, obviously, at home at the Azteca. You thought that with that home crowd, it was gonna be tough for England to go in there and get that win, but they did. So credit to them. But yeah, the Mexican program, I think, is in good hands. And USA, I think their program is in good hands too. But they possibly may have different management going forward, both teams. And yeah, it's going to be interesting. And if you're a North American soccer fan, as I said, this was a tough pill to swallow the last couple of days. But hey, that's what soccer's all about. You got to show up every single game. And if you don't show up for one game, you could possibly go home. And that's exactly what happened. So just not a year, guys. But we'll see what happens going forward. And a couple of quick notes about some other stuff with the World Cup. Brazil went down. I wouldn't say it was an upset, but they were favored against Norway, and Norway went in there and beat them 2-1. Erling Haaland. What else can you say about this guy? 25-year-old superstar, looking like a top 5 player in the world. Scored 2 goals, had a crazy header in this game, and he just really dominated Brazil, and they could do nothing with him. And yeah, he played very, very well, and he's looking like he's going to be a player, possibly the best player in the world for years to come. So credit to him, and credit to Norway for getting that win. And for Brazil, Neymar, it's looking like this is possibly going to be his last game in the World Cup for Brazil. He said possibly he's going to retire after this from World Cup soccer, and we'll see. And Vinny Jr. played pretty well, being the lead guy in this tournament. But this may have been Brazil's weakest team, and the fact that they made it that far with this team is a credit to that young kid. So that kid can continue to build and become a better player and be the leader of this team. Now, possibly that Neymar will not be playing with the national team no more in the World Cup. But yeah, we'll see if Neymar decides to call it quits. But it's looking like this is going to be it for the superstar from Brazil. And for Portugal, they go down 1-0, a late goal by Spain. And yeah, they go down. And this will be it officially for Cristiano Ronaldo. He calls it a career at 41 years old, and a bit of a tough pill to swallow for him. You would have loved it in this last game if he could have at least scored 1 goal, but they could not get anything going, and Spain looked like the better team throughout, although it was a close game. But yeah, Portugal's going home, and Ronaldo is also going home for good. And it's looking like we're going to lose 2 all-time great scorers in this World Cup with Neymar and Cristiano Ronaldo, and maybe Messi if he does go out in the next round, or if he wins it all and says, "Hey, I've already won 2 World Cups. I'm already the greatest. I'm calling it a career." Or he may come back because the dude is still playing at a high level at age 39. And hey, why can't he do it at age 42 or 43, whenever he'll be? Because the dude's just defying the odds, and we've never seen anybody greater do it. So credit to Messi. And yeah, overall, the World Cup has been crazy. Final games are tomorrow in the round of 16, and then we open up the quarterfinals, and this is gonna be a lot of fun to watch. Unfortunately, no North American teams are left, but hey, the Central American and the European teams are showing us why they are indeed the powerhouses of soccer. So we'll see what happens in the next couple of weeks in the World Cup. But yeah, it's been a great tournament overall, and and it'll be tough to watch or fun to watch. Sorry, for the next couple of rounds. All right, let's move on to basketball. And we had a big trade that I was not able to break down last week because it happened literally in the middle of the week. And we had Jaylen Brown traded to the 76ers for Paul George at 2 first-round picks. Not even the Clippers picks that the Celtics had. The Celtics picks that or the 76ers picks are the ones that are going to the Celtics. And yeah, this was a big head scratcher for me. When I saw this, I thought it was fake. I could not believe that Brad Stevens, the GM of the Celtics, would make a move like this. And after hearing a lot of comments about it and doing some research on it, it sounds like it was mostly just a salary dump, because Jaylen Brown was just talking nonsense ever since the Celtics blew that 3-1 lead to the 76ers, ironically, that he was just traded to. And yeah, he was just continuing to run his mouth, and it sounded like it was looking like it was towards the end of that. And then they offered him in a package to get Giannis Antetokounmpo, but then of course Giannis went to Miami, and Jaylen Brown didn't love that either. And after that, it looked like it was just a dagger in with him being with the Celtics, and they were saying that he will indeed be moved, and they're still taking calls for him from other teams. And the 76ers, to their credit, they came in. They say, hey, we'll give you Paul George. We'll give you these 2 first-round picks. We'll take them off your hands right now. And Brad Stevens said, at this point, just take him. And that's exactly what they did. They took him. He was becoming way too much of a headache over there. And yeah, the 76ers, man, they get a really good player, a really good 3-and-D, two-way player. Had the best year of his career last year, personally, scoring wise. And yeah, he's now on the team with Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe. That really good young backcourt. Joel Embiid, although he's very broken down, he's not what he used to be, but he's still a pretty good player when he's healthy. But you put him in the mix with those guys, the 76ers are going to be a tough team to beat next year. And although for Jaylen Brown, he wanted his own team. He wanted to be the guy on the team. But it's a bit of a backstab to him as well, because now, is he the guy? Is Tyrese Maxey the guy? It's going to be tough because Tyrese Maxey is the point guard, and he's the captain of the ship there. So it's going to be interesting for the coaching staff there to be like, hey, who's going to be the guy that's going to take the most shots? How's the offense going to be ran? Is it going to be more of a guard offense? Are they still going to use Embiid in the post and throw the ball to him and keep him involved? So it's going to be interesting to see how the 76ers run things here going into the next season. Because, yeah, Tyrese Maxey is going to be the one making the decisions. And will he be the one taking most of the shots? Will it be Jaylen Brown? It's going to be interesting. But, yeah, Jaylen Brown did not get what he wanted, but he got humbled. And I would think if he starts complaining after this, nobody's going to want him. And even then, nobody wanted him in this free agency anyway. On the trade market, it was only the 76ers. Nobody else was really calling, and he's got to realize, hey man, look in the mirror. You wanted to be the number 1 guy. You were the number 2 guy behind Jason Tatum in that championship run for the Celtics, and now you're possibly that guy with the Sixers, and you just got to take what you can get. And he already got traded. He's in a new home. He's got a new opportunity. He's got a new face to show, and he can be like, hey man, I made a mistake, I get it, but I'm ready for a new chapter in my career. And he can do it with a pretty good team here. I like the look of this roster with the Sixers, if everybody can stay healthy. And yeah, we'll see if Jaylen Brown indeed gets redemption and he'll be able to have success in Philadelphia. Now to the Celtics side of things, and this is what I really want to talk about. What are you doing? I get it. As I said, it was not a basketball move. It was a personal move, because Jaylen Brown was becoming too much of a headache out there, and you had to let him go. But you couldn't get any other offers, anything better than that. Really, you get Paul George, a worn down player who's at the end of his career, cannot stay healthy, and then you get 2 first-round picks, not the Clippers picks that they had. You get the 76ers picks. So those picks are not going to be high in the lottery. They're going to be pretty down at the end of the first round because the Sixers are expected to be a really good team in the Eastern Conference next year. So you basically just traded him for Paul George and Jaylen Brown for Paul George, and just gave him away. And this is a tough look for Brad Stevens, who's a 2-time executive of the year. So so obviously he's shown he knows what he's doing. But in this one, he rushed it. He panicked. There's no other way to say it. There's no explanation for why he couldn't hold on a little longer and ask for more and get something better for Jaylen Brown, because Jaylen Brown's no scrub. He was in the MVP conversation just last year, and he's still a young player, 29 years old, and you can only get that for him. So that's going to be very tough. And for Jason Tatum, he's coming off an Achilles injury. He's going to be 2 years off of it, so he may be back to his superstar form next season. But now, where's he going to get help? Paul George is not going to be enough, and they don't have a lot. They have some solid pieces there, but it's nothing where it can be a championship team. Like, they could possibly win maybe 45 to 50 games in the Eastern Conference and maybe be a top 4 to 5 seed and still be a solid team. But when it comes to contending, they're not going to contend. I got to be honest with that. They're not going to contend. They'll be a nice regular season team. But yeah, losing Jaylen Brown is a tough one. I get it. The Celtics want to make the excuse that he's not a good PR player. That in terms of analytically, he takes many mid-range shots. He doesn't take all the 3-pointers that the Celtics want him to take and all that stuff. But the dude is a walking 26 to 27 points a game, and you let that go for an aging player, as I said. And yeah, Jason Tatum now has to put even more load on him, and he even has even more pressure on him to carry the team. And hopefully he can stay healthy. Knock on wood for that. I'm a Lakers fan, but I gotta be honest. I don't want to wish injury on anybody. And for Jason Tatum, he's a really good player. So I respect his game, and I hope that he can stay healthy going into next season. But with now his history of having an Achilles injury, it's a lot of pressure on them. So they got to keep him healthy, and they got to hope they can stay on the court going into next season. Because if he can't, then the Celtics aren't going anywhere at all in the East, and it's going to be a tough look. And Celtics fans are irate as it is that they lost Jaylen Brown. And if you have an even worse season next year after knowing that you gave up Jaylen Brown, it is not going to be a good look in Boston for years to come. So a very, very tough look for the Celtics, for Brad Stevens, and a lot of pressure on Jason Tatum. And for Jaylen Brown, a new chapter in your career. And we will see indeed who will be the smarter ones in this trade. It's looking like it's gonna be the 76ers, because they got a player in his prime, ready to go, and they could possibly compete for a championship starting next year. And yeah, for the Celtics, we'll see if those draft picks can amount to something. I doubt it, but yeah, they might have just thrown away a great player for nothing in exchange. So we'll see what happens going into next season. And it's a tough look in Boston, which I do love behind the scenes. But yeah, it's a tough look for the Celtics fans. So Celtics fans, hang in there. You may be going through a tough stretch for years to come. Now to the final segment on here. LeBron James, of course, announced that he will not be returning to the Lakers. And secretly, I'm kind of glad that he said that, being a Laker fan. But yeah, he decided that he'll be leaving the Lakers, and the Lakers made moves. They got Walker Kessler. They got a couple of good players with the money that LeBron left on the table, and they're going through a full new regime over there in LA. But I want to focus on LeBron here. And Rich Paul made an appearance on his podcast, and he had the famous whiteboard that everyone's been talking about the last couple of days with the list of teams that LeBron could possibly go to. And those teams are the 76ers, the Knicks, the Cavs, the T-Wolves, the Nuggets, the Heat, the Warriors, the Celtics, the Spurs, and the Mavericks. And there's a lot of good fits for LeBron. He can make any of those teams better. If he goes to the 76ers, obviously you can put him at power forward, and that team is absolutely loaded with Tyrese Maxey, VJ Edgecombe, Jaylen Brown, LeBron, and Embiid. Whew, that would be a really, really fun team to watch. For the Knicks, although I don't think that's possible. Well, it's possible, but I don't see him going to a team that just won the championship. He would fit well with Jaylen Brown and Crosby Towns, but I doubt he goes there. The Cavaliers, of course, he goes back home, finishes his thoroughbred career back in the place that he started, and that'll be a great fit for him. And they would love to have him at the small forward position for them, and that'll be a really good fit for them. The Timberwolves, I doubt it. I don't think they would want him. I don't think he would clash. I think he would clash a lot with LaMelo Ball, because LaMelo Ball is a very playful and not a serious basketball player when it comes to winning. So I don't think LeBron would want to go there. The Nuggets, he could play with Nikola Jokic. He could play with Jamal Murray, and that would be a pretty good mix. And the skill level on that team will be through the roof if he goes there. But I don't know if they would want to take him on, because there is a bit of rivalry when it came to LeBron against the Nuggets the last couple of years. But they're desperate to get some talent there, so I could be wrong. So we'll see about that. The Miami Heat, go back to another former team that he played for. Go play with Giannis and Bam Adebayo, and that'd be a pretty good team there. So that could be an option. And then everyone's sexy team that they're thinking that he may go to, and the Golden State Warriors. With he plays with the guy he's always wanted to play with, and Stephen Curry. Anthony Davis may go there, but it's looking like that's not going to be happening, because the Wizards came out about a week ago and said that Anthony Davis will not be traded. So that's looking like that's not a possibility as much, but they're still one of the favorites. The Celtics, you go with Jason Tatum there, and you have a superstar tandem of LeBron and Tatum. That'd be good, and I'm pretty sure the Celtics would love to have that, especially after losing Jaylen Brown. And then the Spurs, I doubt he goes there. I don't even want him, because the Spurs are going in a different direction. They want to keep going with this young roster. But if you put LeBron at the power forward spot in this lineup next to Wemby, whew, man, that would be a real tough team to stop. So I like him there as well. And the Mavericks, I don't really understand this one. They have a solid young core that's building for the future with Cooper Flag, the Rookie of the Year. But I don't think LeBron wants to be on a team that is not experienced and not ready to win right away. Although he will have Kyrie back, but Kyrie will be coming off the ACL, and we have to see if he's even close to what he was before the injury. But I doubt LeBron goes there. So here are my teams that I think he will go to. Number one, I think he will go. I think for sure this is my number one team. I think he will go to Cleveland. I think he has to go back. If knowing LeBron, I get it. He's always wanted to say that he doesn't want this farewell tour, but just knowing how he is and the way that he conducts himself, I'm sure he wants this farewell tour. And for him to do that, I think the best place to do it is in Cleveland. And they would love to have him. They need him. You put him in the lineup there with James Harden, who I get it. The fit would not work well because they're two very ball-dominant players, but I think they could try to figure it out. With James Harden, Donovan Mitchell in the backcourt, you slide LeBron in at small forward. You got Evan Mobley at power forward, and you keep Jared Allen at the center. That's a really good starting lineup, and they still have some good players on that bench. And I think he would fit well there, and they still have some defense. And LeBron, I get it, at this point of his career, is not the defender he once was, but he'll have some help there with the Twin Towers in the front court with Evan Mobley and Jared Allen, so he can afford to slack off a little more on the defensive end. And like I said, with him and James Harden, they got to figure out who is the point guard on this team. Is it LeBron? Is it Harden? If it's Harden, then LeBron has to be used to playing a lot more off ball and getting fed more from James Harden and figure it out. But he won't be the number one option because Donovan Mitchell's on the team. So Donovan Mitchell will probably take most of the shots. And LeBron can just play that Swiss Army knife he played with the Lakers, where he's more of a playmaker. He's also a secondary or third scorer. And I think the way that it would fit, I think it would be very good. And even if they don't contend in the East and they don't win a championship, I just think for LeBron's last couple of years, for him to go back where he started, that would be a great look. So that's where I think he should go, and where he will go in free agency for his last free agency, from what it looks like. And second, the Warriors. I think he will go to the Warriors because as my second team, because he's out here in California, in LA, and his daughter's not getting any younger. She is getting older, and he wants to be a part of her life. He missed a lot of Bronny's years, a lot of Bryce's young years, and he probably is at this point of his life to say, "Hey, I want to be around my daughter as much as possible." So if he can do that on another team, that could be the Warriors, and he can literally go on a private jet to San Francisco, play, and then come back 3-4 times a week and be with his family. And the team over there is a team that he would like to play with. He always wanted to play with Stephen Curry. He played with Stephen Curry in the Olympics, and those two were in sync the whole time. And for him to do that full time on the Warriors, I think he would love that. And you pair him with his friend Jim Green, they would sync together pretty well. And as I already said, that the Warriors probably might not be able to get Anthony Davis, but if they could, then yeah, it can be the old guys over there in Golden State, and they have a pretty good roster on paper. But as I said in the past episode, the injury risk on that team would be through the roof, and for LeBron to be on that team that's the last couple of years trying to win, the injury gods would not be high in his favor in that. But it'll be a fun story, and we'll see about that. And then the third team, this is just a fun one that I think is not going to happen at all, but I would like to see him in Philadelphia. I think that it'd be pretty cool if he was in Philly with that young backcourt that I said, with Joel Embiid, who I hope can stay healthy. You slide him in as the power forward alongside Jaylen Brown, and dude, that'd be a really, really fun team to watch and a really dangerous team to stop, and the Sixers. And yeah, they could make some hay in the East and really give the Knicks a run for the money for whoever wins the Eastern Conference. And the Raptors are going to be good with Kawhi. They got Kawhi in the trade last week, and they have a good young roster. And the Eastern Conference is going to be a lot better next year. There's a lot of teams that are going to be in the mix for a top seed in that conference, for a top 4 seed. And yeah, I think the 76ers, even the way their team is right now, they can still contend for a top 4 seed. But if you add LeBron to that mix, then they for sure would have a chance to possibly get the top seed in that conference. So number 1, Cleveland, number 2, the Warriors, and then number 3, the 76ers for LeBron's destinations, in my opinion, whenever he makes his decision on where he will play next season. We know for sure it won't be the Lakers. And yeah, it's a new chapter for LeBron in his career, for his all-time great career, and for whoever it is, they'll probably be happy with getting him on their team. And yeah, we'll see if LeBron can win their title, which I doubt that he'll be able to this late in his career. But if he can, all the credit to him, and it'll be a picture-perfect ending to his Hall of Fame career. And with that, this was the West Coast Mindset, presented by the Recliner Media Network. I'm Alberto Lucero, and I'll see you guys next week.
This the West, 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 West. This the West, 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 the West Coast. This the West, 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 the West, West. This the West, 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 the West.